Wow. That is the only word I can think of to describe that entire game. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. That first inning by Zack Wheeler, Andrew McCutchen forgetting once again how to catch a fly ball in left field. Phillies go down 4-0 early. They battle back. Offense manages to tie the game. Umpires make I don't even know what the hell happened in that 7th inning. What the hell were they doing? Like, the umpiring this year especially, it feels like they're making up for the shortened season last year by... There's just been so many horrendous calls. It's not even because of it's just feels like it's throughout baseball at this point. All of the horrendous calls that umpires have been making this year. It's embarrassing at this point. It's embarrassing to the sport. It's embarrassing to the league on how many blown calls these umpires have been making this year. And I'm not even showing it as bias because, yes, that call definitely, I would say, shifted the momentum in the Mets' favor later in that ball game because the Phillies, they had some spark after they tied the game, but that call happened, shifted the momentum. Conforto gets a go-ahead home run in the 9th inning, and the Mets end up winning this ball game. But just still, I don't want to blame this game on the umpires because there's so many other factors into this game as well. You got Zack Wheeler's first inning, but after that first inning, he settled down dramatically and went 7th inning, surprisingly. After that first inning, you would have expected him to come out of the ball game. Like, they were about to get someone up in the bullpen up in that first inning. But it just felt like the rest of the game, it felt like that first inning never happened. The way Zack Wheeler just completely changed. It was a completely different pitcher. But that first inning doesn't happen. If McCutchen honestly catches that ball, the Phillies could have won this game. So there's many other factors in this besides just what the umpires did in that 7th inning. Yeah, it's a brutal, horrible call. It definitely is. It's terrible. You get Bryce Harper getting it thrown out of the game when he's not even playing. He's just yelling at the umps on the bench. But yes, it's a terrible call. I don't think that's the reason the Phillies lost this game. It definitely was a momentum changer, but there were many other factors. I think that first inning entirely is that major factor into the Phillies losing this game. But even though they did tie it, yes, they did. But if McCutchen doesn't get that ball, will misplay that ball, 2 runs don't score. Well, if Zack Wheeler doesn't have that inning to begin with, the Mets don't go up 4-0, and the Phillies win this game. So it's just one of those weird games. Like I said, I'm happy with the team fighting back. I definitely am. But this offense, it's still kind of lifeless. Without JT, without Bryce, even though when those guys were in the lineup too, the offense was still very lifeless. But even without them, it's ugh. But thank God for a guy like Alec Bohm tonight. Thank God for Nick Maton tonight. Alec Bohm had himself a night, went 3 for 4. Nick Maton went 2 for 3. So those guys definitely stepped up. Didi was back in the lineup after being on the COVID list for that past couple of days. So even though he really didn't, he did factor in. Not really, didn't do much, but just this offense and it's a problem throughout baseball. It is the lack of teams hitting for good batting average. It's like over half of the league is barely batting over 250. There's like a rare occasion when our team is batting like close to 300. It's that bad. Like the offensive drought is factoring throughout the league. It's definite. But it's just incredibly frustrating just to see this on a nightly basis on how much this offense struggles. And it continues to show how many pieces they are still actually missing in this lineup. Because it's weird, too, because this lineup was a top 5 lineup in baseball last year. Even though it was a shortened season, they were still a top 5 team in runs scored. It was just the bullpen last year was so garbage. This year, the bullpen is slightly better, and the offense, for some reason, just can't find a way to get going. It blows my mind at some points. But I don't think that's the full story for this game. It's just there's so many other factors into it. Like, I'm not pissed off at this game. Definitely not. from the Phillies standpoint because, yes, they did fight back, but just sadly, Hector Neris gave up that home run to Conforto in the ninth. Sometimes those are just situations where it happens, and Conforto is a guy that just demolishes the Phillies in his career. He has 20-plus home runs against us in his career. So he also had himself a night for the Mets. So just going over this game, the Mets got their first 4 runs in the first inning. That's completely obvious. You get Lindor getting on with a walk. Wheeler throws a wild pitch to move him over. Then another walk happens, and then you get a ground rule double by Pete Alonso, which scores 1 run. And then you get the Michael Conforto double to left field where Andrew McCutchen just completely misplayed it. And Joe Girardi even said it in the post-game press conference. Andrew McCutchen blames himself 100% entirely on that. It's not from the factor of the lighting because there was a lot of sun glare in that area, so maybe that could have affected it. But Andrew McCutchen was just putting the blame 100% on him, which he definitely should because he's had way too many of those situations this year where he just completely misplayed the ball. So that happened, scored 2 runs. It became a 3-0 Mets lead. Then J.D. Davis, he gets an RBI single, which makes it 4-0. The Phillies, they do tackle on, break the lead in half in the second inning. They get a couple of runners on. Bohm gets on. Maton gets on. Andrew Knapp gets an RBI ground out. That scores Bowman. Zack Wheeler, of all people, gets an RBI, which scores Nick Maton to make it a 4-2 Mets lead. Then getting to the point where the offense goes quiet once again. It's just one of those situations where the offense is quiet. It is. Then you go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Brees Hoskins gets on with a single. Didi doesn't do anything. Then Alec Bohm continues his strong night with an opposite field home run to tie the ball game up at 4. Like Alec Bohm, like I said, he had himself a night tonight, went 3 for 4 with that home run. So he looked very comfortable at the plate today. He looked confident. I've been saying this every time Alec Bohm has a decent day at the plate, to where maybe this is a game that gets his confidence going. Maybe this is where he finally breaks out of that slump and becomes the hitter that we all know he can be from last year. But I don't want to get my hopes up too high just because of the patterns that the offense has been through this year, but this was a really good game for Alec Bohm, a really good one. So that ties the ball game up at 4. Then we get to that 7th inning. Andrew McCutchen gets on with a walk. It's just, oh boy. I'm just like, so, I'm just like, I can't even describe it, man. I can't describe it at all. The Kutch walk, then Matt Joyce this is like I said, I can't describe the feeling because Matt Joyce grounds out to second base, and then the second baseman tries to tag McCutchen, doesn't do so. He completely misses McCutchen. McCutchen gets to second base, and then Matt Joyce is eventually called safe at first. But the second base umpire ruled that McCutchen was out of the base path, where he definitely wasn't. Replays actually showed that McCutchen was running in a straight line and never went off the base path. And actually Joyce was out at first, and originally he was called safe. And then you get Joe Girardi coming out to argue the call. You got Andrew McCutchen pissed off as hell. You got people on the bench pissed off as hell. Bryce Harper literally just, like, you already know what he's saying, but you can't hear it at that point. But he was not out of the base path. He was running in a straight line. And the umpire, I don't know what the hell he was looking at. And that's one of those instances where that type of play is not reviewable. And they only reviewed the safe call at first base, and then that call got overturned and Matt Joyce was out, so it turned into a double play. It's bad. It is terrible. And you got Joe Girardi even talking about that in the post-game presser too. You can look at it, you saw it live, you saw it on the replay. Everything showed that McCutchen was running in a straight line, and the second baseman just missed him. For some reason, I have no idea why. It's embarrassing. It's a fucking embarrassment how that umpire called that. The second baseman just missed him. And like I said, there's been way too many horrendous calls this year by umpiring. And it's not even just on the Phillies side. It's been throughout baseball. Throughout. And it feels like it's getting worse and worse every game at this point. And it's just bad. That is just horrendous what we witnessed in that 8th inning. And the Phillies bullpen too. Phillies bullpen came out after Zack Wheeler, and the bullpen was decent as well. Sadly, when you get into that ninth inning, Hector Neris, leadoff batter, Michael Conforto, makes it a 5-4 ball game, hits a bomb into the right field stands. They take the lead. Hector eventually goes 1-2-3 after that. And then you go to the bottom of the ninth inning where you got to rely on the bottom half of the lineup. Andrew Knapp, Odubel Herrera, and then Brad Miller was your pinch hitter. No one did anything there. You had Andrew Knapp striking out, Odubel flying out, and Brad Miller striking out on a pitch right down the middle of the plate where he was arguing with the umpire about, like, Brad, what are you arguing? The pitch is right down the goddamn middle of the plate. Right down it. I just don't know. And Edwin Diaz was filthy on the mound, throwing absolute gas, and the Phillies couldn't catch up to it. There were so many pitches to Andrew Knapp that were right down the middle, and he just couldn't catch up to the ball whatsoever. Ugh, oh boy. It's one of those games. It's definitely one of those games. And it just sucks. It's just like, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth the way that game ended. It sucks. It really does. If you look at the lineup today, Andrew McCutchen goes 1 for 3. His average is at 175. That's just bad. It's so bad. Matt Joyce goes 0 for 4. Rhys Hoskins goes 1 for 4, and Rhys Hoskins' average, even though Rhys Hoskins has hit a lot of clutch home runs this year, his average is not good. It's at 231. Basically a reflection of the entire team as well. Didi Gregorius goes 0 for 4. His average drops to 238. Alec Boehm goes 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs on that 2-run shot. His average jumps up to 229. So I'll say, that's a definite increase for him. Nick Maton goes 2 for 3. His average is the highest on the team at 357. Andrew Knapp goes 0 for 4. Odubel Herrera goes 0 for 4. Zack Wheeler goes 1 for 2, and Zack Wheeler has a higher average than Odubel Herrera, a higher average than Andrew Knapp, a higher average than Andrew McCutchen, and higher average than Matt Joyce. The list goes on and on and on, and Zack Wheeler just has a better average than all of those guys combined. That's how sad it is. It is. It definitely is. Zack Wheeler goes 7 innings after that. Like I said, after that first inning, he settled down dramatically. He did. Goes a full 7 innings, allows 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. If you take away that first inning, pretty solid outing from Zack Wheeler. Just sadly, that first inning happened. That's one of the reasons why the Phillies lost this ball game. Connor Brogdon came in for the 8th inning, got the job done, 1, 2, 3. And then Hector Neris came in for the 9th, allows that go-ahead home run. And he also allows the 1 earned run on that home run and 1 strikeout. Just not good for Phillies. The offense-wise, they were only 1 for 4 runners in scoring position, so they didn't really have that many runners on plate in today's ball game. And really, not that many. Both teams really didn't have that many chances of runners in scoring position. The Mets had all their chances basically in the first. Zack Wheeler, like I said, he settled down a lot. And Taijuan Walker for the Mets, he was dealing it today as well. He goes 6 innings, only allows 7 hits, 4 earned runs, and 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So basically, it feels like it's the same exact stat line as Zack Wheeler, just less strikeouts. So, yeah, it's one of those ball games. It definitely is. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and it sucks. It really does. And if we look at the standings, it's so weird to see this, that the entire NL East is below 500. It feels like it's the NFC East in football. It's what it feels like. Every single team is below 500. And every team has a negative run differential except the Miami Marlins. And they have a worse win differential. It's weird. They're 11-15 and they have a +6 run differential. How is that even possible? It's just weird. It is so weird to see this entire division below 500. Phillies are 13-14. Nationals are 11-12. Mets are 10-11. Braves are 12-15. And the Marlins are 11-15. It's so weird. It's just so mind-boggling. I don't understand it. I just don't. I guess this is how the season's going to be for everyone? Or there's eventually going to be that one team that breaks out of this slump and takes over the division. Like, it just has to at this point. We're in the beginning of May, for Christ's sake. One team has to wake up and be more consistent because no team in this division has been consistent. So it's kind of working towards the Phillies' favor, but you kind of wish the Phillies would be that team to break out a little bit. But I digress. very frustrating read nonetheless. So, what are your thoughts, everyone? That's going to do it for this video on this frustrating Phillies game. Zack Wheeler's outing, Alec Boehm, that call by the umpire. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below, so don't forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I am a part of. The links will be down in the description below. And also the links for Flyers Nitty Gritty and the Flyer.pod merchandise website will be down in that description below, so don't forget to check those out. And just don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, everyone. And I will see you next time.